The Georgia Bulldogs play Georgia Tech this weekend, and that means the regular season is just about over. The year has flown by. I can't believe we are nearing the end of the 2022 season. Georgia has 3 games left, possibly 4, trying to repeat as national champions. And before we dig into LSU next week, of course, we've got Georgia Tech this weekend, but I did want to make a quick video just about 5 guys who, in my eyes, have had breakout seasons this year. 5 big surprises on the team that we've seen this fall. I want to start on offense. Dejan Edwards, a tough back who loves Georgia. He was going into this season as the number 3 running back on the roster, on the depth chart, behind Kenny McIntosh and Kendall Milton. But he's been fantastic this season in a backup role. Is still not leading the team in rushing, but he is second right behind Kenny McIntosh. 5'10", 205-pounder out of Colquitt County, South Georgia. He's kind of a shifty back. He can make guys miss. He's got great vision, but he runs hard, and he's rushed 107 times this year, 547 yards, respectable, second on the team, 7 touchdowns, which is tied for first on the team with Kenny McIntosh and Stetson Bennett, who also has 7 rushing touchdowns. He's a guy who gets tough yards after contact. He can still make you miss, down the field, past the line of scrimmage. And he's versatile. He's caught 11 passes this year as well. So a guy who, played a lot of mop-up duty last year, still thought he was going to be behind Kendall Milton and Kenny McIntosh in carries, touches, whatever you want to call them. He has been a big-time surprise. We knew he was good. I mean, he was a low 4-star coming out of high school. We knew he'd play. Not sure I'd have him, right behind Kenny McIntosh, rushing yards and 7 touchdowns already this season. Big surprise there. On defense, Small Mondon, 5-star for a reason, playing like a 5-star in his second year. We were wondering who's going to replace Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Channing Tindall from last year. Small Mondon has come in and been lights out, in my opinion. Has missed 2 games. He's still third on the team in tackles with 52. If he played, I forgot the games that he actually missed. It was halfway recent. He probably leads the team in tackles if he doesn't miss those 2 games. Had a great game against Kentucky last week, 11 tackles. 6'3", 220, a guy who can run, hit. He was a running back in high school over Paulding County. Just a really good athlete. There's a reason he was a 5-star. He won the inside linebacker job opposite of Jamon Dumas-Johnson, who we saw more of last year. Not a big surprise that he's playing well at middle linebacker, but right next to him, Small Mondon is playing fast. He's physical. He knows what he's doing now. He's reacting instead of thinking. And he's a sure tackler. And he's a guy who hits hard, and he can defend. We've seen him break up passes in coverage. So, long, athletic guy who can run. He's been really good this year as a sophomore. I think he could be a possible first-round pick after next season, after a really strong junior season. But he's been really good as a sophomore. He's got plenty of size, and he can run. He's long and athletic and is everything that I thought he was going to be out of high school. I loved him. Saw him play at North Hall. He was really good in that game, but you can tell he runs really well for a guy his size. He's played really well this year. Third, Darnell Washington. Might seem a little crazy because he's really good, but he's definitely taken a step forward as it comes, as it relates to helping out in the passing game. 6'7", 260. I think he's a little heavier than that. That's just what he was listed as last time I checked, which is not too long ago. But 24 catches, 4th on the team, 391 yards, and the 1 touchdown against Mississippi State. He's improved there, and he's become more impactful in the passing game. But as a blocker, I mean, he's dynamic. There's nobody like this guy in college football. I remember against Oregon and South Carolina, just about every touchdown was kind of on a screen pass or a run behind a Darnell Washington block. He's basically a super athletic offensive tackle. He's long, he's tall, he's got massive hands. So when he locks onto a guy, he's putting him on the ground and shoving them backwards. He opens up running lanes on the edge, but he's great to run behind on the perimeter. He just brings a lot to this team. You rarely see him off the field, and that's why he's on this list here. I knew he'd play a lot and have a bigger role than he did last year, but he is a major part of this offense, and he's doing it now in both ways. He was an impact blocker immediately, but now he's definitely become more of a pass catcher. And when he catches the ball, he's getting yards. He's tough to bring down. He is such a weapon. And I said for a while, go to this guy in the red zone. He could be unblockable there. Just throw it up to him. I went and saw him in Las Vegas. We knew he was going to Georgia, so we flew out there, and he was dominant. He was punting the ball 60 yards. Dude's a freak. And we're seeing more and more of him. I think he's going to do very well in the NFL. I'm not sure there's a tight end in the NFL who's doing who's doing what he is doing right now. With his size and his athletic ability and, his wingspan, he's a special player. He's been terrific this year as a junior. Might only see him in Athens for a few more games. Going back to defense, Malachi Starks, I mean, what more can you say about him? 6'1", 205, speed in the back end. He's got ball skills. There was a reason he was a 5-star. We saw him early and often when he was at Jefferson. 56 tackles, leading the team as a true freshman, safety, 2 interceptions. We saw the big one against Oregon. That really opened everyone's eyes. That's when everyone said, oh, okay, the hype is real. The hype is real. This kid is making a lot of plays. He's broken up 7 more passes. When the ball is in the air, he's on top of it. He can go get it against the run. He's flying in, making a tackle, around the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage. He's doing it everything. He's doing everything. He is a complete safety in every aspect. Could catch the ball at receiver if they need him to, an emergency situation. Played some quarterback at Jefferson. He's just a tremendous athlete. He can launch the ball. He could run the ball. I mean, he's a guy who he was ranked as an athlete, and Georgia put him at safety, but he can do everything. He's a ball player. He's instinctual, natural playmaking ability, and he gets it. It's hard to imagine a true freshman walking into Georgia right now, playing for Kirby Smart, especially in the secondary where he coaches, firsthand. You've got to be really, really good to see the field, and you have to practice well. It's all about practice. He's coming in and practicing better than anyone else at safety right now, opposite of Chris Smith, who's obviously on the field all the time. But Malachi Starks has proven that even in year one, he is one of the best players on the team and on this defense, and the numbers speak for themselves. I think is the proper way to put it. But when you're leading the team in tackles right now as a freshman, I mean, not only is it impressive that he's got this much playing time and he's earning a starting role, but he's making a lot of plays and he's leading the team in tackles. So he's going to be a 3-year starter, first-round pick in the NFL, in my opinion. And he looked that way in high school. He was really good. He did everything. So not a total surprise that he's earned playing time, but I didn't think he would come in and lead the team going in tackles going into the Tech game at the end of the regular season, and he'd be first in tackles, first in interceptions, first in pass breakups on the team. Was not expecting that. Big-time surprise and a big-time weapon on Georgia's defense moving forward. The Kamari Lasseter, another defensive back who is playing probably as well as Kelee Ringo. You can make the argument he's played better than Kelee Ringo this year. Tough, physical, instinctive. Kirby Smart raves about this kid every time someone asks about Kamari Lasseter in a press conference. They love him. He's a sophomore. He locked down that job opposite of Kelee Ringo going into this season. Fought off guys like Nolan Green and some other very talented young players. And he is tough, man. He's going to sneak out that screen. He's going to pop you. 27 tackles. I think he's left 27 bruises as well. Every time he lays out a hit, it's going to hurt and it's going to leave a mark. So not only does he have natural athleticism, as a cover corner, but you don't want to run his way. He's going to hit you, and he's physical and he gets off blocks. He blew up a screen against Kentucky. The tight end missed. It just couldn't block him at all. I mean, he was too quick. He learned it. He knew it was coming and just immediately reacted. The tight end had no clue how to block him, get his hands on him, and I think it was like a 5-yard loss. He's done that over and over. Every time I try to watch him, specifically when watching the game film again, he's standing out and he's doing his job over and over. So they needed someone like that to step up and, be opposite of Kelee Ringo, who, again, some people think could be a top 15, top 10 pick. And he's really good. He has 2 interceptions, but no one's really throwing Kamari Lasseter's way either. When guys leave the pocket, they've got pressure on them. Feels like they're throwing it out of bounds often. And it's because Kamari Lasseter is shutting down his guy. Tight coverage, so you're going to have possible PI here and there. But it's because the coverage is almost too good. He's on top of these guys. He's, he can be handsy. He's physical. He's not going to make it easy on any receiver. So he has been a really, really good player. Again, not a total surprise because these are all good players, but he's had a really good season for a first-year starter and a guy who people wanted to see play this way. They needed someone to step up in that position, and he has absolutely done that. So those are 5 guys who I think have probably been the biggest surprise starters, breakout players, in my opinion, for the Dogs this season. What do you think? Drop a comment in the section below. Thanks for watching all of these videos. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I'll see you over on Dog Post.